I really believe in schools as being learning organisations, but I also believe in schools as being listening organisations as well. So we looked at curriculum reform, we looked at curriculum design, but also we really started by listening to our learners, our pupils. What were their hopes, what were their aspirations, what were their fears, and we really wanted to build our pupils to be resilient and competent learners, and that's really important because we want them to be secure in a world that sometimes is insecure and changeable.
I think it's important to have a balance for children. Education, and us as educators, we have to understand that our job is to provide these children with a good skill set when they leave here. We have to be fluid, it has to be dynamic. Education cannot be static. We have to move in time with the future generations. We have to understand the needs of the children.
Well, I think it's important, as well as assessing pupils and benchmarking where pupils are, that we also give them an experience of things outside of the classroom, experience of things outside of assessment.
This school does make you a more well-rounded individual, I think, because it doesn't just focus on the sort of pumping out robots with A stars. It's more the sort of a well-rounded person who can have a proper conversation.
The 12 pedagogical principles have been embedded right across the school. Our processes around quality assurance and lesson observations have ensured that the criteria, whilst hitting the expectations of ESTIN, lead to us informing and embedding those 12 principles.
I've been lucky enough to develop links with many outside agencies where they come in and they develop skills with our children. The domestic violence talks, the drugs talks, the RSE, bringing the sexuality talks into it. All this then is making our curriculum much wider and much more in depth for our learners.
As a teacher, curriculum reform is exciting because it gives me a sense of freedom to try new things, to be creative in the classroom, to try and do it in ways that keep them enthusiastic about the subject. We've now got a Penetrate cluster project which we're working on, where we'll be looking to, along with Central South, we'll be looking to put together a transitional project using DCF strands and elements. So there'll be some kind of collaboration between us and our feeder schools going forward.
So the projects that bring in staff such as the nurses to help us. I mean, recently a nurse was coming to one of our PSE lessons that helped us to show us how to actually check for breast and testicular cancer. I think things like that, it just really does help you prepare for more things outside of school.
To look out at the school and to see it as a beacon of hope, to see it as an inspirational place. And I actually think to see it emblazoned in neon in the night is a very, very powerful message of the hope and inspiration and the strength of the school and how we look to serve the local community. We want to give them the keys to the door, and for pupils to move on, they have to get valid qualifications either in an academic or vocational route, and that's really what we're about, making a bespoke curriculum to ensure that they can go on to take a purposeful place in the community.